Oh, press finger.
Earlier on today, we inspected the section of East-West Road. That's the section between the boundary of Bayelsa and Rivers State, coming down to Rivers State. This evening, we are inspecting the section that is ongoing by RCC from Eleme Junction down to One Port. When we came on board, we redesigned this project. It's 15 kilometers to Alliance, which is 30 kilometers. But it's exceptionally, the carriageway is 15.2 meters, which is about 2 carriageway and 1 carriageway. So we are looking at, 4 carriageway or 8 lanes. That's what the design is. But the interesting thing is the method of construction and the redesign. The redesign that we are digging this road, I've always maintained, is the highest traffic road in this country. So because of that, we redesigned it from asphalt to concrete. But not only that, we had to make the foundation very solid. And what we have done is to dig the ground as existing and put 500 millimeter lumps in most cases, to 500 millimeter sharp sand in most cases, and then a stone base of 3 layers. We just decided to cut the stone base to 2 layers. And then after that, we are using Y20 at 200 millimeter spacing, and then we are putting reinforced, continuous reinforced concrete. It's as good as what we do on the decking of bridges, exactly what we have here. So they expected that this route will last between 50 and 100 days. And this is desirable. That is what we are aiming. Because in the past 30 years, if we were doing the project, like this, anyone we do, we will not be, working on it. But today, because of the past neglect and poor design of our roads and construction, almost all the roads in the country, they're on priority table. But the president, I commend him very highly. And so the only new thing in all these locations under President Tinubu is the relief culvert that these 2 local contractors are putting. And are proving themselves to be of a very high reputation in terms of their works. And we are encouraging many more local contractors. We are encouraging them to come and work because there's so much work. Mr. President inherited 2,600 projects. And before I go on this West Road, people drew my attention to what my very good friend and truly a man of God, Prophet Buba said. He said that the Minister of Work has failed. I read it and I laughed. And I take responsibility for any road that is bad. But I want him to understand, as a man of God, you have to consult God first. I have spent 18 hours of my time since I was appointed in August. I have not stayed 1 year in office. And the president has not ceased to be sleepless in thinking on what to do with a very challenging economy. People must know that the priorities of this government is not only road, even though it's first among equals, but the president is doing everything possible. On the directive of the president, I am here on East-West Road, especially the section of Bayelsa boundary with River State. We have about 3 kilometers of these sections that are totally very bad. Now I need to trace the history of East-West Road that some people are insinuating is been neglected by the present administration. If we start from Lokoja to Benin, we have 4 contractors we inherited. We are not happy with the performances of 3 contractors and we've terminated their contracts. And we have redesigned the project. Instead of building 2 carriageways at the same time, we are building the existing carriageway, expanding it to 12 meters of 3 lanes carriageway, which will be faster for us, which will also be cheaper. And when we have finished this existing carriageway, improving it on reinforced concrete, then we will now come over to the new carriageway if we have money. But it's better, you know, to count one before we count two. But this was inherited. And so, because of the traffic and the terrain, we have redesigned that project on reinforced concrete pavement. The worst sections of Ekpoma and the Okene, Mr. President graciously isolated 60 kilometers of that road and gave to BUA under tax credit to use reinforced concrete to do it. With the last 2 months, the level of water on that road as inherited was more than 6 meters. But today we have, removed the water. We have dug even 1 meter below the ground level, and we are filling with lumps, with sharp sand, with a stone base, and after which we start to lay reinforced concrete. Now you come to Benin to worry. That's also a very terrible terrain. When I went there September last year, vehicles could not pass, vehicles were falling down, and that was as inherited. And so what we did is to note the high water level and that asphalt will not work there. So we redesigned it by digging every point there. We dig 1 meter and we fill with lumps, we fill with sharp sand, we fill with stone base, and they are now putting 8 inches reinforced concrete pavement. And it's being done by Levant, first section. Section 2 is done by Guild, and section 3 is done by SKCC.
I'm going to release this one framework. This one is off. This one is